So, WandaVision is finally out. The show is actually really good. And you've likely heard people referencing the House of M comic when they're talking about WandaVision. And that's because WandaVision is very loosely based on the House of M comic. And if you're new to comics or you didn't start reading comics till after 2005, you might not know the House of M story. So today, I figured I'd cover the House of M story as quick as possible. So the House of M came out in 2005. But to really understand, we have to jump back 20 years to 1984. When there was a comic series called Vision and the Scarlet Witch. And during that comic, it's revealed that Scarlet Witch gets pregnant. And everyone just believes that Wanda used her magic to get herself pregnant. Obviously because Vision, not being human, wouldn't be able to get her pregnant. Keep in mind, during this time, Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver were believed to be mutants and that their father was Magneto. But at the end of the comic series of Vision and the Scarlet Witch, Wanda ends up having twins, Thomas and William. But when the two heroes go back to work at the West Coast Avengers, they start hiring babysitters to watch their kids. And their kids just keep disappearing whenever Wanda would go on a mission, and then reappear shortly after. And Wanda just thinks she's hiring bad sitters, but it's not until Agatha Harkness, who helped train Scarlet Witch in magic, and is believed to be playing the character of Agnes in the WandaVision show, tells her that, hey Wanda, your husband is basically a robot. Your magic isn't strong enough to create life. These kids aren't real. And whenever you would go on a mission and have to concentrate on defeating the villain, your kids would disappear because you weren't thinking about them. Anyway, Wanda freaks out, and then a demon steals her two kids and gives them to Mephisto. And it turns out that after Mephisto was defeated by Franklin Richards, essentially his spirit or his essence kind of shattered, and Wanda's kids were basically made out of parts of Mephisto. Agatha ends up completely wiping Wanda's mind of her even having kids, although all the Avengers still remember. And all this will help set up the House of M story 20 years later. And the House of M really starts in the Avengers Disassembled story, and Wanda and Janet Van Dyne are sitting by the pool, and Janet kind of lets it slip that Wanda thought that she had two kids. This opens the floodgates of memories, and she starts to remember having two kids, and this makes her completely lose her mind. She starts warping reality in a way that ends up killing three of the Avengers, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and her husband Vision. And when the Avengers finally put it all together that it's Wanda who did this, Magneto ends up taking Wanda away to Genosha, which at the time was used as a mutant refuge ran by Magneto. Wanda's mind is completely broken. Her powers have skyrocketed, where she can basically warp reality at a point where she's essentially a god. But she's mentally blocked out the part that her kids were just parts of Mephisto, so she still thinks her kids are out there and someone is just trying to take them away from her. But while she's at Genosha, Professor Xavier attempts to fix her mental state, but he's having no real success. And he tells Magneto that there's not a lot of time. His powers basically aren't strong enough anymore to control Wanda, and her mental state is getting worse and worse. So Xavier calls a meeting between the X-Men and the Avengers, and what they discuss is basically the future of Wanda. And the two teams basically decide that the only real thing they can do is basically kill her. And if they don't, then they're putting basically the whole world and really the whole universe at risk because she's just that powerful and she's just that cray. Before they really decide, they want to talk with Wanda one more time just to see if they can kind of bring her out of her mental state. So the two teams travel to Wanda, but when they get there, Professor Xavier just disappears. And one by one, all the other heroes that were there just start disappearing as well. Until it's just Spider-Man left, and eventually he sees a bright white light and then disappears as well. And he wakes up in bed next to Gwen Stacy, who's been dead in comics for, at least 30 years. And what happened was that Scarlet Witch created a whole new universe where all the heroes got their perfect life and had no memory of the previous universe they lived in. Hero Danvers is the most popular superhero, Spider-Man is beloved by everyone, Uncle Ben is still alive, and Magneto basically is the ruler of the world. And his palace is located on the island of Genosha called the House of M. Nobody remembers their old life except for Wolverine. And Wolverine is eventually abducted by Luke Cage, and Luke Cage introduces him to a girl named Layla Miller. And for some reason, Layla Miller has the ability to unlock people's minds so that they remember the old life they used to live. So Wolverine and Layla go around unlocking other heroes' minds and start to put together a team. Since they can't find Xavier, they start with Emma Frost and then go to Cyclops, Spider-Man. They even unlock Hawkeye, who's not too happy to learn that Wanda actually killed him, and put together a plan to attack Magneto, who they believe put this idea of creating this new universe in Wanda's head. So when the team arrives at the House of M, they have one team attack the front of the palace, Doctor Strange goes and finds Wanda, and then a team goes to unlock Magneto's mind. Doctor Strange is able to find Wanda, and she's playing in a room with her two kids. And keep in mind, these are not pieces of Mephisto again. Her powers are at the level where she can actually create life now. And Strange is asking Wanda questions until one of her kids gets mad with all of his questions. So Strange says that he's going to go because he's afraid of his friends who are fighting outside. And Wanda says that she doesn't like fighting. It's the whole reason why she created this place. And she says that he told her that no one will ever have to fight again if she created this world. And Doctor Strange assumes that she's referring to Magneto. But she actually shows the truth of what happened that day that everyone disappeared. And what happened was that her brother Quicksilver actually overheard the meeting with the X-Men and the Avengers about killing Wanda. He goes to Magneto about this, and Magneto basically agrees that her powers are out of control. This is essentially the only way. He's not happy about it, but there's nothing else that he can really do. So Quicksilver goes to Wanda and tells her that they need to leave because they're about to kill her. And what Wanda actually says is that, good, she wants to die. She realizes that she can no longer control these powers, and it's going to put everyone in danger. She's basically looking forward to death. However, Quicksilver convinces her to make this whole world where everyone can be happy, she can have her kids, and all the superheroes can be happy, because they'll use Professor Xavier's ability to read minds and give everyone their perfect world. And this is kind of why I believe that they put the Layla Miller character in the story, because this wasn't really Wanda's idea. This was Quicksilver's idea, and Wanda wanted to give herself a way out. But shortly after this, Magneto has his mind unlocked, and he confronts Quicksilver about what he's done. And what does any upset dad do with their son? Well, he ends up killing him. The second that Quicksilver is dead, Wanda immediately feels it, and she goes and confronts Magneto. She tells her dad that he's a horrible person, that mutants are not the next step in human evolution, that they're just freaks. And Magneto chose fighting for those freaks instead of fighting for his own kids. And now his kids are completely ruined. And that's when she says the famous words, "Daddy, no more mutants." Then there's a flash of light, and the old reality is restored back to normal. Well, kind of. Because 99% of the mutants in the universe have lost their powers. And conveniently, only the mutants that are popular were able to keep their powers. I think there was basically 198 mutants that still kept the mutant gene, but Wanda goes into hiding in some European country. That's how the House of M wraps up. And with that, I'm going to end this video. If you guys liked it, make sure you hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.